All right, guys, I'm not going to bury the lead on this, and it's probably going to surprise a lot of you who have been listening to my content for any length of time, but I did not love this finale. I I thought the season was good overall, but this final episode, it got a little wacky, especially in the action sequences, especially in the helicopter scene. But I'll get to that in just a minute. So one of the big differences between the book and the series in this final sequence is that in the book, Reacher doesn't walk right in and meet the bad guys head on and like let them strap him into a chair, and it doesn't happen like that. In the book, in fact, it's Reacher like sneaks into the facility and hides in the helicopter until they're up in the air, and then reveals himself once they're up in the air. But I get it. I completely get why they did it the way they did. I think that what they did was way more cinematic. I think it works better on screen than Reacher just hiding in the back of a helicopter. So I get it, and I appreciate it. Um, I did like the torture and the interrogation part of the episode where Langston is just repeatedly punching Reacher in the face, and the henchmen are stabbing and or shooting his friends to get information out of him. The only thing I didn't like about it is Langston doing the stereotypical comic book villain trope where he reveals his entire plan and how he plans to pull it off and what he's going to do after he pulls off the plan. Reveals all of this to the good guys, thinking there's no way they're going to be able to do anything about it. And that's just silly, guys. I know, I get that this is like an action adventure story and it's kind of far fetched as it is, but I like the realism of the books. I like that it feels like it could happen in real life. Yes, I know a stranger moving from town to town and just drifting along and happening to fall into crazy plots wherever he goes. I know that's far fetched, but when you add stuff like this, the villain, revealing his entire plan while the good guys are tied up, it kind of takes me out of it a bit. I did like Nagley as a sniper, although I'm not sure she could make those shots from that crouch position like that. I feel like she should have been, she should have had a tripod or been prone or something. I don't know. It just looked impractical. But what do I know? I'm not a sniper. Uh, and then finally, look, the helicopter scene. Listen, it was all well and good until Dixon rolls out the door and Reacher catches her stretcher and holds on to it for like a full 2 to 3 minutes while she removes her restraints and climbs up the stretcher, all while Langston is kicking the shit out of Reacher's ribs. Guys, it was too much. It felt like a Fast and the Furious movie. I did not like that at all. I'm sorry. I know it's blasphemy, but this episode was just a little too over the top for me. Um, like I said, overall, I love the source material for this one, and I really enjoyed all the episodes leading up to this finale. And honestly, I like how everything panned out, but I did not like the execution of this final episode. I felt like I was watching a cartoon or a straight-to-video B movie from the 80s starring Michael Dudikoff. But don't worry, this has not in any way soured me on Reacher or ruined this series for me or my love for Reacher in general. I'm very much looking forward to season 3, which is already in the works. And they haven't revealed which book they'll be adapting, but it has been confirmed that it will be a Jack Reacher solo story, which that's not saying much because they're almost all Jack Reacher solo stories except for this one. And honestly, now that this season is finished, I can confidently say that I feel like maybe they should have saved this story for a season 3 or maybe even season 4 storyline, just so we got comfortable with what Jack's life really is like, going from town to town by himself and falling into these adventures before we go back and revisit his past and give him a whole team to work with, right? Which is out of the ordinary for Jack. But I get it. It's a great story, and they wanted to do it. And in this business, you don't know if you're going to get a season 3 or 4. So you do what you can when you can. So I don't fault them at all for doing it, but I am very happy to hear we're going back to the regular format for season 3. As I said, they haven't announced the book yet. I did hear a rumor, just take it with a grain of salt, that it may be the book Worth Dying For, which both excites me and scares the shit out of me at the same time, because Worth Dying For is the first Reacher book I ever read, and to this day, my favorite Reacher story of all time, followed closely by 61 Hours. Anyway, I'm just nervous. I'm nervous about, seeing my favorite story on screen and not having it live up to what I hope, right? Anyway, so no official announcement of what book they're covering. I'm sure that will come very soon, as it did last season. Right after the season ended, they announced the book for second season. So I would keep an eye out for that. And when it is officially announced, I will definitely talk about it here on the channel. So look forward to that. And as always, if you love Reacher like I do yourself a favor and subscribe, because I talk a lot of Reacher on this channel. It's not all I do. I do a lot of pop culture and entertainment stuff, but there's a ton of Reacher content on the channel. If you haven't checked it out already, please go check it out. Book reviews, season 1 reviews, episode by episode, Jack Reacher news, all kinds of stuff. So if you're into Reacher and you decide to stick around, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Thanks.